I've always been drawn to the eerie, the unexplained, the places where the veil between this world and the next feels paper thin. So when my girlfriend suggested we spend a weekend at the historic Hotel Del Coronado in California, I knew exactly where I wanted us to stay, room 33112. A room with a history that I'd read about. My girlfriend wasn't thrilled. "It's our anniversary, not a ghost hunt," she joked. But I could see the curiosity flicker behind her hesitation. And when I booked the room and showed her the confirmation, she didn't back out. The hotel was stunning, grand yet somehow melancholic. The beach shimmered beneath a golden sunset and everything seemed perfect. But the moment we stepped into room 3312, the air changed. It was colder, still, like the room hadn't been touched by sunlight in years. The bellhop was oddly silent when he dropped off our bags. He gave us a tight smile but didn't offer the usual pleasantries. As he left, he paused at the door. "If you need anything," he said, "anything at all, just call the front desk, no matter the hour." Then he was gone. The room was beautiful in that old-world way. Ornate furniture, high ceilings, a massive bed draped in heavy linens. But something felt creepy. The mirrors were too reflective, the shadows in the corners too deep. My girlfriend wrapped her arms around herself. "Is the AC on?" she asked. It wasn't. We tried to laugh it off. Took a walk on the beach, ate overpriced seafood. By the time we returned, the sun had long dipped below the horizon, and the hotel's long hallways glowed with amber sconces. Room 3312 loomed at the end like a forgotten secret. Inside, the temperature had dropped even more. I checked the thermostat, 72. Felt more like 50. We curled up in bed, trying to ignore the chill. That's when the light started flickering. Just once. Then again, then a soft pop, and the lamp by the dresser went out. My girlfriend sat up. "Did you see that?" I nodded. Probably old wiring. But then the footsteps started. Soft, deliberate, pacing above us, back and forth, back and forth. "There's no room above us," she whispered. "We're on the top floor." We stared at the ceiling. The steps continued, then stopped. Then, a voice, barely audible but unmistakable, a woman's voice, saying, "Help me." My blood turned to ice. It didn't sound angry. It sounded lost, desperate, like someone caught between here and somewhere else. My girlfriend grabbed my arm. "That wasn't the TV," she said. "We hadn't turned it on." I got up, heart pounding, and checked the hallway. Empty. Silent. But when I turned back toward the room, something shifted. The air was thicker, heavier. The shadows seemed to pulse. And then I saw it. The mirror above the dresser had fogged slightly, like someone had breathed on it. There was a handprint. Not mine, not hers. We left, fast, down the hallway, into the lobby, breathless and pale. The concierge didn't look surprised when we asked for another room. "Room 3312?" he asked. I nodded. He sighed. "You're not the first." Later that night, in a different room on a different floor, we sat awake, unable to sleep. I started researching. Kate Morgan. She checked into the Hotel Del Coronado in 1892, alone, said she was waiting for her brother. He never arrived. Days later, she was found dead on the steps leading to the beach, a gunshot wound to the head. Ruled a suicide. But witnesses claimed she seemed frightened in the days before. Paranoid, as if someone was after her. No one claimed her body. Room 3312 is believed to be the room she stayed in. I couldn't stop thinking about that voice, how sad it sounded, how human. The next morning, we checked out. As we passed by the front desk, the same concierge gave me a polite smile. "She tends to reach out on anniversaries," he said quietly. I stopped. "What do you mean?" "She died on her honeymoon," he said, "or what was supposed to be one. The man never showed. She still waits for him." I didn't say anything else, just nodded and walked away. But as we left the hotel, and looked back one last time, I thought I saw a figure in the window of room 312. A woman dressed in black standing still, watching, waiting. I stayed at the Cecil Hotel on a dare. It sounds stupid now, but my friends and I had a running tradition. Who could spend a night in the creepiest, most haunted location without chickening out? I'd done the Queen Mary, a deserted asylum in Nevada, and a cabin in the Oregon woods. But the Cecil? That was another level. It wasn't just the murders or the suicides or the serial killers that had once called it home. It was her, Elisa Lam, the girl who vanished. The girl they found in the rooftop water tank. The girl whose final, frantic moments were caught on camera, pressing buttons in the hotel elevator like she was trying to escape something invisible. I booked the same floor she stayed on. When I checked in, the front desk clerk looked at me a little too long. "Here for the haunted history, huh?" she asked. I smiled, trying to play it cool. "Something like that." She handed me the key. "If you hear anything strange, don't go exploring. Just call down to the desk." I took the elevator up, alone. The hallway was long and dim, the kind of lighting that made shadows flicker even when you weren't moving. My room smelled like bleach and something else, something older, like mildew and rust. I unpacked, set up my camera gear, and started documenting everything. I told myself this was just another location, another night. Around 11 p.m., I decided to try the elevator game. I'd read about it online, pressing a specific sequence of buttons to supposedly open a door to another world. Elisa Lam had been acting oddly in that elevator video. Some people thought she had been playing the game. I laughed it off, but I pressed the buttons anyway. 4, 2, 6, 2, 10, 5, 1. The elevator jerked slightly, as if it didn't want to respond. The lights flickered, then the doors slid shut. I was alone, or so I thought. The elevator began to rise, then stop, then open. No one there. Then down, open, still no one. And yet, I swear I heard breathing, not close, shallow, as if someone stood inches away, right beside me, hidden in the dark corners of the elevator's blind spots. When the doors opened on the 14th floor, I felt it. A shift in the air. I stepped out slowly, my skin crawling. The hallway ahead looked odd, longer than it should have been. The lights above flickered in rhythm, one after the other, and at the end of the corridor, I saw her. A girl, standing still, wearing a red hoodie. "Elisa?" I whispered. She turned her head. I don't know how to describe the expression on her face. She looked lost and terrified, like she couldn't believe I could see her. Then she raised one hand and pointed, back toward the elevator. I turned, and when I looked back, she was gone. I ran. I don't remember much of what happened next. I just remember the elevator door refusing to close, as if something invisible was holding it open. My fingers were shaking as I mashed the buttons, any button, every button. Finally, the doors shut, and the moment they did, I felt it again. That presence. Behind me. I didn't dare look. The ride down felt endless. When the doors opened at the lobby, I stumbled out, heart racing, drenched in sweat. The front desk clerk looked up at me, unfazed. "Did you see her?" she asked, like it was a routine question. I nodded. I couldn't speak. She shows herself to people who play the game. It's like she wants to stop them. I checked out at 3 a.m., grabbed my bag, and walked straight into the city night, heart still pounding. But here's the part that really messes with me. When I reviewed the footage from my camera later, everything looked normal. Elevator ride, button presses, me standing alone, no flickering lights, no strange hallway, no girl in the red hoodie. I haven't spoken to anyone about it. Not really. Sometimes at night when I'm asleep, when I dream, I'm back in that elevator, pressing buttons, over and over, and no matter what I press, the doors never open. I booked a last-minute trip to New Orleans. I'd been stuck in a loop. Same job, same apartment, same sleepless nights, and I needed a reset. A few days away sounded like just what the doctor ordered. The hotel I found looked charming in the photos. Vintage, tucked away in the French Quarter, iron balconies wrapped in vines, flickering gas lanterns out front. Old, but elegant, like it had stories to tell. And apparently, one of them wanted to tell me something. I checked in just after sunset, dropped my bag in the room, and decided to walk around the hotel before heading out into the city. The place had a certain energy, quiet, almost too quiet. The hallways were dim, lined with antique sconces casting shadows over faded portraits. It smelled like wood polish and something older, something stale. That's when I saw him. At the far end of the hallway, near the old staircase, stood a man. Mid to late 30s, dark jacket that looked like it had been worn through a few too many winters. His face didn't register right, like there was a delay between when he looked at you and when you felt it. But I felt it. Hard. His eyes followed me without blinking. I gave him a polite nod, hoping he'd take it as a please don't talk to me gesture, but no such luck. As I passed a wall-length mirror next to the elevator, I checked behind me and caught his reflection. He hadn't moved an inch, just stood there, watching. The elevator was taking its sweet time, so I started walking toward the stairs. That's when I heard the footsteps, measured, soft, following. "Evening," he said, suddenly right beside me. I turned, startled. "Hey, you here by yourself?" he asked, smiling just enough to show teeth. I hesitated, my gut clenched. "No, I'm meeting friends soon," I said. He tilted his head, like he was trying to read behind my words. "Sure you are." That didn't sound like disbelief. It sounded like amusement. "You like the city?" he asked. "First time?" "Yeah," I said, inching away. "Just got in today." He moved in closer, blocking part of the hallway. His smell hit me, like rust and wet fabric. "You got plans tonight?" I shook my head. A pause, then he smiled wider. "Then maybe you could use some company." His tone wasn't flirtatious, it was possessive, like he already decided what was happening next. The elevator dinged. I made a break for it, stepping in and mashing the button for my floor. As the doors slid shut, he stood there smiling, eyes locked on mine, until the very last second. Once in my room, I double-locked the door, slid the chain in place, and tried to collect myself. My hands were shaking, though I hadn't fully grasped why. He hadn't done anything. Nothing overt. But that feeling, like I just escaped something awful. I paced for a bit, then sat on the bed. The old TV flickered to life. Some local channel. I wasn't watching it. I was listening, waiting. Eventually my heart slowed. The tension eased. I told myself I was overreacting. It's an old hotel, some guy being weird, nothing to lose sleep over. Then, the knock. 3 soft taps. I froze. Turned the TV volume down. Nothing but the buzz of the screen and my own breathing. Another knock. I crept to the door and looked through the peephole. No one. I backed away slowly, heart hammering now. I sat down again, hands gripping the edges of the bed like I was going to fall off. Then the third knock, heavier this time, slower. I jumped up and looked again, still empty. No footsteps, no creaking floorboards, just silence. That was it. I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I packed and went straight to the front desk. The woman behind the counter gave me a strange look. "Checking out already?" "Yeah," I said. "Didn't sleep great." She lowered her voice and leaned in. "If anyone bothered you, you can tell me. You wouldn't be the first guest to say something strange happened." I hesitated. "That guy in the hallway last night, do you know who he is?" Her brow furrowed. "We didn't have any other guests on your floor." I didn't say anything else. I just left. As I passed through the lobby, I glanced toward the old staircase. There he was, standing half in shadow, same ratty jacket, same dead eyes, and still smiling. I walked faster, didn't look back. New Orleans is full of ghosts, they say. I thought they were talking about old souls, foggy legends, long-gone jazz musicians. But now I know better. Some of them are still walking the halls, and some of them are looking for someone new.